Hey there, it's Fi. We're checking out Manatee Leap. This is a game I've not played before. We're going to give it a playtest and see if we can give some useful feedback. Got the game page open here. Let's go ahead and take a look at it together. This is apparently only embedded in the webpage, so no downloadable version. It's a bit unfortunate. I like to download my games personally. Tends to avoid any potential issues, but for the most part, this usually works fine too. We might have to, I don't know if there's a full screen mode or whatever, so apologize for that in the video, but it says here A, D to turn the red indicator, W to move the direction of the indicator, smooth entries, closely lined up red and white lines, increase your speed and combo. In timed mode, you have 2 minutes to get a high score. In free swim, there is no time limit. All right, let's do free swim then. Time limits make playtesting really problematic, I've noticed in the past. But let's go ahead and see what happens here. From the looks of, I guess they're not here. In the page before this, I suppose there were some GIFs or whatever showing the game, and it kind of gave me some Echo the Dolphin vibes. So I'm going to assume that that's maybe what this is inspired by. Alright, I guess I am like a blue stick, it looks like. Alright, interesting. Okay. I see, I see. What are the other buttons? ADW, smooth entries, which is somewhere we'll find whatever that is. And I'm assuming that these floating things are, like if we assume this is the water, then maybe those are spheres of water up there I could swim through or interact with in some way. Alright, let me see. I don't know if there's a way to pick up, I mean, whatever the smooth entries it says, whatever that is, it's supposed to. Alright, yeah, so these are kind of like bubbles of water, it seems like we can kind of swim through. Interesting. So yeah, so far I don't see any of those supposed things that increase your speed. Don't know where those are yet, but oh, looks like I can maybe jump into this thing. That's nice, I guess. But then where do we go from here? Okay. I guess if I just keep, I don't know if this is just endless, if I just keep going to the left. Or to the right, I'm sorry, if it will continue to kind of spawn random stuff, I don't know. Looks like I can kind of get up here. As soon as you're in the air, you kind of lose all control, you're just at the mercy of physics at that point. Oh, it looks like in the top left we have a score and a combo. However that works, I don't know how that works, but I guess the longer that we're flying in atmosphere or whatever, the more points we're getting. I don't know how the combo works. So yeah, things that stand out to me, for one thing, having both this indicator thing and being able to see the blue thing, which is apparently me. Paying attention to both of these things at the same time is kind of distracting, I think. I can understand why it's here and the logic behind it, but generally when you're playing games, if we assume that the little blue line is my character, if that's the manatee or whatever, generally when you're playing games, you kind of, in your mind, you understand it as you are controlling the character directly. And you don't really kind of abstract out the idea of, I seem to have picked up a little bit of speed. I don't know how that even worked. I don't know how that's possible. I don't know, but I'm going to stop for a moment. You don't really abstract out the idea of like there being another layer of like control logic and stuff that you're thinking about that's between what you're doing and what the character is doing and that kind of thing. You kind of just think, you know, press this button to make the character move this way. So this is a bit different in that you kind of, it's the way it's presented to you is you're kind of controlling something intermediate to the character, and then the character is following that. So again, I can understand kind of what the reasoning is here, but it doesn't feel right to me. Like I'd rather just think about it in terms of just controlling the character directly. Now in this case, if you just remove this little indicator, and this is kind of my point, if you just kind of remove the indicator, it's gonna the player's not going to think about it anymore. They're just going to think about it in terms of controlling the thing directly, which I would see as something of an improvement. Unfortunately, in the game as it is currently, it's like if I just try to ignore the indicator itself, controls feel not very responsive, I would say. It could probably be more so. I think it would benefit from being a little bit more so. The other thing is that what really stands out to me, having played Echo the Dolphin in the past, if, for example, I go up in the air, if I just hold forward, it does kind of this weird kind of thing. And I believe, if memory serves me correctly, that when you kind of arc in the air, your forward bearing, I guess, or what the game considers moving forward as you hold forward, kind of updates according to the position of the character. So what I mean is that, like, if I jump into the air, as it kind of arcs downwards, the little controller doodad would kind of update to match the position of character automatically, whereas in this game it doesn't do that. I have to kind of do it manually, so it gets kind of wonky. It feels like kind of micromanaging stuff that I shouldn't have to. As such, I mean, I think, I don't know, maybe it even goes as far as the game logic itself, which is not really something I playtest. I mean, I focus on design. I'm not a programmer, not by any means, but just the fact that we have this sort of indirect control over the character really kind of throws off the experience here, I think. And I don't really understand what exactly makes you gain speed. I'd kind of like to know how that works. Or maybe... Wait. Closely lined up... Oh, okay, now I get it. Ha! I get it now, okay. Interesting, okay. So... Right. Right, so the thing that I wasn't getting, I'm just gonna stop playing for a moment. When I was talking about the smooth entries, closely lined up red and white lines, I thought lined up red and white lines was indicating something that I could find in the level here that was visually denoted by lined up red and white lines. Whereas apparently it's talking about lining up this line here, which I thought was blue. Apparently this is white, and then the trail behind is blue, I guess is what I'm noticing now. Something like that, maybe. I thought it was just straight blue because they're quite similar colors. Maybe it's just my monitor, whatever. But apparently your facing direction line and your control direction line is what you want to line up. So if they line up when you re-enter the water, then you get a speed boost. And it seems to be kind of permanent, so... Oh my gosh, yeah, now I'm like launching. I see now. So that... I mean, that whole concept kind of goes in the face of what I was talking about a moment ago, of course. But I don't know. I mean, I don't know if I if I like that kind of mechanic. I mean, I do like having something that can, something that's relatively skill-based or whatever that can boost your overall speed, and then you can launch higher and higher. That whole concept is pretty cool, I think. But making it this, like maybe there's something else you could come up with that would kind of work as how you achieve speed boosts. I think could be cooler. I do notice, I mean, of course, as you gain speed, you kind of lose a bit of fine control in turning. So it seems like it's really easy to run into this floor here. So I wonder if maybe you should make the bottom a bit deeper or something. I guess the combo number kind of functions as a speedometer then, because I don't really understand how it suggests combo. This is crazy. All right. Actually, I think going really horizontally might be the play here, because you're not working against gravity and you keep flying through more. I gotta adjust this more and more blue things just kind of randomly. And once you land in the water again, oh, I ended up hitting the, going so fast I still hit the bottom, but it's harder to hit the bottom if you're going a horizontal trajectory versus going like straight up, right? So yeah, it seems like the thing to do is to go horizontally. Either way, I mean, this is pretty neat. It feels kind of cool. I don't know if there's more more in the plans of the developer to expand upon what's here already, because I'd be curious about that. I don't really know what else you would put in here. I mean, probably come up with some things, I guess, but it would be, this isn't the sort of game you see around all the time, so it's not really obvious what that would be. I'd have to kind of synthesize some ideas to kind of stack on top of this. But yeah, I'd be curious if there's more planned, or if it's more of just an experiment. But yeah, I think, I don't know. I mean, it's fun to play, but yeah, I guess if it was me personally, I would try to take a different approach instead of this kind of disconnect to this weird kind of control direction in the direction of the thing I'm controlling. Even though it's kind of unique, I don't hate it, but it's maybe not as fun to me as what's possible if you do things different ways. In fact, it kind of seems like after a while, when I started building up a lot of speed, it was kind of all I could do is just keep going in roughly straight lines. At least as long as I'm up in the air, right? If I land in the water again, I can kind of change my trajectory, but then once I'm up here, I think, wait, I don't know what exactly slows you down and kind of resets the speed limit. I mean, I can tell that turning, like not lining it up, seems to kind of slow you down, but I don't know if it always permanently slows you down, or if it's just like temporarily and you're going to speed up again. I don't know how that works exactly, but I think I'd prefer if, I could do some sharp maneuvers and stuff, assuming that this was like an expanded version of this concept that had more gameplay elements and stuff. I think it'd be more fun to be able to do sharp maneuvers, just like turn really quickly and this kind of thing, whereas this, as far as I can tell, this concept seems to kind of reward you for going as straight as possible. while you're flying in the air, and then just kind of, you know, making an adjustment when you're in the pool at the bottom, and then just kind of just constantly keeping this line kind of really close to, it's actually really touchy, really as close as possible to where you're facing. And there's not really anything more to it than that, right? So yeah, maybe that's kind of a limitation of this concept. So yeah, I'm not sure what else, much else I can talk about. It's very simple, interesting. Oof. But I guess that would be my personal analysis and opinion of the concept as it stands. I guess that you can actually kind of maintain a little bit of height if you kind of aim it upwards like this. I guess that's not dense enough to... Oh? I don't know how long you can kind of stay up like that, but it's not quite dense enough to stay up forever, I don't think. That would be interesting to see, like how... Actually, right now, it seems like I'm just getting lift, which is really interesting. This wasn't supposed to be about flying, was it? At this point, I'm just holding W. I'm not interacting with it in any way. Oh, it looks like we kind of ran out of... Maybe there's like a ceiling where it doesn't spawn any more blue things. It actually kind of looks that way because I didn't see any of these like decorative star things up there either. So this is kind of funny. I guess with this angle, I'm not sure if I'll eventually fall back down, because it seems, I guess it's just a little bit RNG in terms of whether I hit the blue things or not. But it's kind of, I don't know, it's just kind of cool, I guess, that you can actually sort of fly more or less infinitely, like sort of like an airplane on like random pockets of air instead of consistently, you know, air being everywhere. And sort of weird concept. I mean, obviously we're talking about like water instead of air, but yeah, that's kind of neat. I mean, again, there's not really any depth to it because I just kind of found an angle and just held W, but just an interesting concept to explore, I think. It just feels kind of cool. So yeah, this is really curious. I guess I just have to see if the developer plans to continue with this, if there's more in mind in terms of mechanics and features and such. It's kind of the direction that's intended to be able to give a bit more feedback here. So that's probably as much as I'm going to get out of this one, but really interesting. I'll be interested to see where it goes. Maybe check it out in the future if it's going to continue being developed, and that would be really interesting to me, I'd say. And apart from that, I guess we'll wrap this up. Hopefully you found it useful. Be nice to have some kind of full screen mode, you know, at least for the sake of the video here. But let me know if you have any questions, and I will see you in the next one.